If you could give the board the benefit of some background information, you already mentioned that you've gotten corporate approval from the F45 franchise, but can you just explain to the board a little about this fitness concept and what you plan on doing in the studio itself?
Sure. So F45 is it's one of the fastest growing fitness franchises in the world at the moment. It's 1,500 locations globally in 36 countries. It's basically group-based functional training with a focus on motivation, innovation, and results. The F stands for functional, 45 stands for 45 minutes. Basically, it's a class-based 45-minute high-intensity interval training sessions conducted by certified personal trainers. It leverages cutting-edge technology to monitor your heart rate real time, send the email summary of what your performance was for that class, and also demos the actual exercises in front of the classroom so everybody knows what to be doing at the time that they're in their particular stations. So there's no confusion around what should I be doing because you told me what to do. So everything's there in front of them.
And attached to the application that we submitted, I believe the board also received the brochure essentially gives some general description of the requirements for the site and what takes place during the course of the activities that take place there. Can you also explain for them what you anticipate to be approximate class sizes, your hours of operation, those other fundamental aspects of the
Sure.
operation?
So weekdays, we expect to be open from 5:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
So what was it, 5:32?
5:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you.
Weekends, probably between 7 and 8 a.m. to noon. It really depends on what our members want. So we're just...
Time periods, what do you anticipate your peak hours are going to be?
So really, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 in the morning would be the peak hours. And then in the evening, we think 5, 6, 7 would be the peak time. So basically before people go to work and after people are done with work. During the midday, we don't really know just yet on what the members would want, but we may have to put in a class maybe noon or something like that, or a 4 p.m. or something maybe at 10:30 if the demand is there. But at the moment, we're thinking we would just straddle the end and the beginning of the day.
And what about on weekends? What do you anticipate?
Weekends, we're thinking maybe 3 classes a day. So on Sundays, 8, 9, and 10, possibly. And then on Saturday, probably 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30.
Okay. And are the patrons that sign up for F45, are they going to be members, or is there a membership requirement for it?
Correct. So we'll be providing either monthly memberships, either unlimited or an 8-session pack, where they can come for 8 sessions a month. And basically they have to, they don't just show up to a class, they have to register on an application, very similar to Orange Theory, right? You guys know Orange Theory. So register themselves in the application so we know they're coming. They can't overbook the class, so we know how many people are going to be there ahead of time. So there's no questions about that.
All right, so then once the class is full, you're saying that they sign up in advance. Once the class is full,
they're waitlisted. So it's waitlisted, and then if someone drops out, then they get added from the waitlist back into the actual class.
okay, so that class will have a maximum at some point, right? And then
That's
everybody
programmed
else-
on the phone so that no one can go above the maximum.
Okay.
They'll get
Just
waitlisted.
do me a favor, for his sake,
Oh.
wait till I ask the question,
Sorry.
and then just provide the answer, because I know it's difficult to take everything down when you're.
I'm a quick talker,
that's a
so.
good report. Right. Okay. Now, how many employees do you think you're gonna have?
So we're looking to have,
on average?
so 1 studio manager, and then we'll have a roster of trainers that'll be there. So at any given point in time, there'll only be like 2 to 3 people in the studio. So 2 trainers per class, and then either a manager or a front desk person there outside of the classroom. But the roster, maybe 4 to 6 trainers that we have on call to train, teach classes.
Okay, and the services that you provide are just strictly related to the training aspect of it? There are no food services, there's no cooking or anything that's going to be done, no meal preparation or anything of that nature being done on the premises? Is that right?
Correct. No.
Okay, so the patrons come in, get their workout in 45 minutes, leave, and how much time between classes will you have?
15 minutes. So the classes are strictly timed. So when they say they start at 5, they start at 5 and they end at 5:45. So there's no leeway for the trainers to lengthen it or shorten it. It's a set schedule, and then we'll allow for 15 minutes in between classes to give people time to get changed, get out, and move on.
Okay, Now, so what type of, let's say, deliveries are you gonna be receiving, if any, at the studio? What do you think as far as that goes?
We only really expect minimal UPS and FedEx deliveries, mostly for just merchandise, clothing merchandise, and the frequency would be every couple of weeks, every month. We're not, it really depends on how quickly we sell out the merchandise, but that's not a big part of the actual brand itself. So.
But it would be a typical ground carrier like UPS?
Yes, no freight. Yeah, there's no need for a loading dock. It's basically just UPS delivering a couple of boxes.
Okay, and what type of refuse or garbage would you be generating, you think, from your business?
It's going to be minimal, like typical office type of trash. Really, it's paper towels from people using the bathroom. We would have just that, and then we have a dumpster out in the rear of the building that we would just put the garbage there. It's picked up on a regular basis, so there's no need for any additional services.
And your employees will be directed to empty the garbage each day or every other day or something and throw it out in the dumpster, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. At the moment, I don't have any other questions for this witness. I would ask if the board members have any questions about the...
Great, thank you.
I question whether 20 people in a class can get changed in their clothes, get out and get their cars out so that the next 20 people can come in all in 15 minutes. It sounds a little tight. Are you going to monitor that to see if you need to change some
Yeah,
of your scheduling?
people really don't get changed. Basically, we provide like cubby holes, no lockers. There's no locker room where you get changed. Basically, you come there, if you have a coat and your wallet and your keys, you put it in the cubby hole, attend the class, and then when you're done, you literally leave. And so we currently belong to an F-45 in Cranford, actually. So we've seen this in operation, and it's really a matter of minutes to get in and out of the facility. There's no place to really hang around and loiter and talk to people. Basically, you go there, work out, go home, take a shower, and go on your merry way.
Okay, well, I hope it works for you.
I hope so.
Diane?
Will you be providing towels that require laundry facilities or pickup of laundry services?
We're not expecting to do that, no towel service.
Dan, did you have a question?
Yeah, you mentioned just briefly something about the retail sales. So could you tell us a little bit more about the retail sales? I see there's a space, would that require another person? Is it accessory? You tell me about what you're doing.
Basically, it's only t-shirts, hats, and shorts, and maybe yoga pants. It's really not a big part of the business, but they do want us to have a small retail section. It's basically just branded equipment, F-45, maybe the name of the workout, but I don't really see people buying it per se. I think it's more promotional stuff we would give to people if they do well in a class. I don't really see the need, but that's the kind of stuff.
You won't have, there's no intent to have another person working?
No, for that.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
I had a question. Is there music during the class?
There will be, yes.
So it's at a volume that's over the, equipment or noise? Like, just can you speak to the volume? Because you're talking about
Yeah,
5:30 in the morning, so I just
Yeah,
wanna
no,
understand.
we're very conscious of that. So it's the music's actually timed to the actual workout, so it's set to the same tempo as the workout. So it's actually a provided service through them. And the equipment doesn't make any noise because it's basically free weights and kettlebells. So it's really just to motivate the people and get them kind of pumped to work out. So we definitely want to keep it at a certain decibel level. But I don't have the specific numbers on what that number should be. But the trainers don't wear microphones. So that's the franchise doesn't like that. So it's more of a personal kind of thing. So I think we should be okay.
I think the brochure also made a general comment about the music that's going to be like to a
Low
low
to medium.
Intensity as well. I think that's what they indicated because the focus is really just on the workout itself. So.
Can I follow up on that?
Sure.
There are residents upstairs from this location, correct?
Correct.
So if the music at any level is 5:30 in the morning and 10:30 at night?
No. 7 p.m. would be the last
The
class.
last class, okay, so I just be prepared, they're residents for 5:30 in the morning.
I-
The boom of the bass would be something to be concerned about.
So our plan,
Right, well, I'm gonna have the architect testify as well, because it's a franchise, there are specific requirements that the franchisor, requires in terms of the space and the build out itself. I've done other, fitness franchises, and they're usually very specific down to the type of drywall and, any noise suppression, anything else like that, if there's music involved in that, so they have to comply with whatever F-45 corporate tells them they have to do in terms of colors and materials that are used and all those sort of things, specifically for those concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions for the witness?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay. If not, I'd like to call my next witness, who is Michael Montesano.
Thank you. For the record, I don't believe we have anybody from the public, but if anybody did from the public had questions for this witness.
Mr. Lanzafame is here to just briefly discuss the site itself. I know that he's qualified before this board in the past.
But we haven't qualified him for this hearing,
You
so
want to
we
qualify
would
for
like
this?
to.
Okay,
Yes.
absolutely.
But thank you for, yes, we know him.
I do. My name is Michael Lanzafama, that's Lanzafama. I'm a licensed professional engineer, land surveyor and planner, licensed in the state of New Jersey. I'm a principal with the firm of Casey and Keller Incorporated, 258 Main Street, Millburn, New Jersey. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil and Environmental Engineering from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I've been licensed as a professional engineer and land surveyor since 1984 and as a professional planner since 1985. I've testified before this board and numerous boards throughout the state in similar matters.
Thank you.
I'd ask that Mr. Lanzafame be qualified as a planner to testify in that capacity.
And we will hear you as
Okay.
such.
Thank you. The property in question, as the attorney pointed out, is 296 Millburn Avenue, located on the south side of Millburn Avenue. What I have up on the easel is a blow-up of the site plan that John had on his cover sheet. This is the actual as-built survey that was prepared as part of the certificate of occupancy. So you can see Millburn Avenue is located at the bottom of the sheet. Home Street is immediately across from the building. The post office is located immediately to the right on the exhibit.
Mr.
Access.
Motta, can we just mark this
You wanna
A1?
mark it
I
as-
recognize
Absolutely,
this
of
part,
course.
but someone, maybe Mr. Buckholz could mark it so we
A1.
can keep
Thanks,
moving
John.
forward.
Thank
And testimony has been referencing what we've now marked A1.
As Exhibit A1, yes. Thank you.
Please continue, Mr. Lanzafama.
Thank you. The building is located on the street. The ground level has two retail spaces. Busy Bee is located on the right. The new fitness studio will be located to the left, about 2,500 square feet of space. This building was designed with access to an underground parking garage directly off of Millburn Avenue. There are 17 parking spaces located in the basement level, and there are 16 parking spaces located in the rear. The refuse area is located in the upper right-hand corner of the property, as viewed on the exhibit. The parking requirement is consistent with 5 per thousand for the retail space. We have 33 parking spaces provided, 33 parking spaces are required for both the retail space and the 5 apartments that are located on the second level. This was approved back in 2013. We had received a variance for loading space at that time. The situation hasn't changed. This type of use has even a lesser requirement for a loading space than would a normal retail space and or a restaurant type facility, for example. As Todd pointed out to you, the only type of deliveries you might get are in a UPS truck. The UPS truck could access the site and utilize one of the parking spaces in the rear of the property to make their delivery, which would come in through the rear of the building, which is, as you see on John's layout, is their primary entrance to the facility. So I don't see any negative impacts associated with granting that variance for the loading space. The original facility was never anticipated to have a loading space, and that there appears to be more than adequate parking, not only on the site, but in the area. We've prepared a second exhibit, which we can mark.
A1.
keep you around.
Wait till you get his bill.
What has been marked as A2 is an aerial photograph, satellite imagery, that we had prepared for the Busy Bee application. We just kind of regurgitated it for tonight because we thought it was appropriate. And what you see in this exhibit is you see the property in question highlighted in yellow. And what's telling about this is if you look at the aerial and you look at Millburn Avenue from Lackawanna to the Essex turnoff, there are 31 on-street parking spaces available in that area. In addition, parking lot 12, which is over by the Millburn Deli, has another 18 spaces available in it. And then at P2 in the lower right-hand corner is the parking garage. So there is more than adequate room for people to visit the facility, park either on the street, in the parking garage, or in a municipal lot and frequent the facility if there were no parking spaces available in the rear. But when you look at the off-peak hours that he has his primary clientele coming to the facility, at that time there's hardly anyone parked along Millburn Avenue. There's more than adequate space in the garage. We also anticipate that many of the clientele would probably park at the train station, take a walk over to the facility, do their exercise workout, and then get on their train and go. They could shower in the facility and then leave and go onto the train and go to work. And so there are 2 showers available in the facility just in case a client on the rare occasion might want to shower before they leave the facility. Highly unlikely, but we thought we would provide that benefit as part of the overall business model. So again, I don't see this as being problematic. This seems like a good fit for the area, given its proximity to the parking garage, to the available on-street parking on Millburn Avenue. I think it'll work quite well. I have no other information. I can answer any questions you might have.
I have no direct questions, so if the members have any questions, Mr. Lonzafame?
Sure, Elena.
Yes, Ms.
I think I know
Baker.
where you're gonna go.
Will the parking spaces be designated for F-45? Will they be?
No, there's no
It's clear that
designated
they
parking,
have-
other than the employee parking will be provided in the basement of the building as per the original approval. So the 8 spaces in the back are open. So for example, from at the 5:30 class, 6:30 class, 7:30 class, actually all 16 spaces would be available. Because the way the approval works, the original approval worked back in 2013, the 17 spaces in the basement, 10 are allocated for the apartments, and the other 7 spaces are allocated to employees of the retail space. So it's a good building. It works well for this type of use.
Do you know how many employees Busy Bee has?
I don't.
So you don't know how many of those spots they're actually using?
I don't, but it might be 4 or 5, I think, because there's limitation on the number of available spots. So there's only 7 available spots in the basement, so it can't be more than 3 or 4.
Other questions for this witness?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next witness I'll call is John Buckowitz.
I do. John Buckholz, B-U-C-H-H-O-L-Z, 123 Columbia Turnpike, Florham Park, New Jersey, 07932 is my business address. We'll do the plan. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Mr. Lonzafame is gonna mark that A3. and
He gets to-
reciprocate
There
what
you
you
go.
did for
Should I
him.
get do with that?
You can't do it, Mr. Monahan.
I won't.
Okay, A3, thanks.
I'll give my credentials.
Yes, we have to. Mr. Buckholz, would you give the board the benefit of all your credentials? please?
Sure. Bachelor of Architecture from Pratt in 1979, licensed architect in New Jersey and New York in 1982. I'm licensed in Florida and Connecticut. I'm a lead AP architect. I'm a certified interior designer. All my licenses are up to date. I've appeared before this board and many others throughout the state, and I've been a witness as an architect in all of those.
I'd ask that Mr. Buckholz be accepted as a licensed architect, and to testify in that capacity.
We will hear him as such. Happy
Okay.
33.
Thank you. Just to quickly go through a lot of the testimonies there. A1, that's here, that's A3, dated March 14, 2019, is the same drawing that the board has. Basically, along the bottom is Millburn Avenue, and the back is where the apartments are. Like I said, the shaded area is Busy Bee. The entrance to the apartments are in the middle. There's another secondary means of egress for upstairs over here. So the intention is that the parking is in the back and the entrance is in the back. There's an existing handicap restroom here. We're getting a shower and another bathroom. So primarily, this is the back area. You basically come in, you're gonna run to your locker, and then run to your station. So everything from here down is old gym. It's basically the same ceiling that's in there. It's the same, you know, they're gonna put mats in here, and the equipment's all in this area. So basically, from here down is the gym space. It just stays almost as it is today. One of the questions that came up is, yes, we do have apartments upstairs with some music playing at 5:30 in the morning. Right now, there is no concrete slab in this building, but we do have trusses which are filled solid with insulation when we built the building, when it was designed. So I do have a significant amount of soundproofing that's in here, but not enough for the bass in what's in here. So the franchisee, we're working with them to figure out what we need to do in here. We'll be removing portions of the ceiling, providing additional soundproofing, and then putting the ceiling back. So it'll look the same way as it does today, but there'll be additional soundproofing that'll be in there. So we want to make sure that we're good neighbors with the people upstairs, unless they're working out downstairs with us. So, so there is no change to the exterior of the building, other than you would see some retail space in here, and this sits up a little bit, as you all know, so you'll see people doing exercise in here, as opposed to walking in the front here. It is very limited in this space, so there's no place to lounge, there's no place to hang out. It's basically, there's a bench along here. You'll put your work shoes in here, put your sneakers on, maybe take a jacket off, and then basically it's a routine of, they go around and do routines. So it's timed, it's understood, and they continue these through here, so they are isolated to there. One of the things that it's pretty straightforward. There's not really a lot. It's open space with a couple of improvements. And the only other thing that we did get 5 reports, and basically the only one I think that we need to go through, I think that the planner had asked some things about trash and how pickup is being done. I believe the tenant or a client went through that. Typically, the fire department, they have the typical response. I will provide them with a CAD drawing when we're done with the working drawings, which we give to them through email. That's basically.
That's right, I believe we did address in the testimony all the concerns that your planner had identified in his report, so.
Except signage.
The signage will come, will be the 2-foot height. We don't have anything for it right now. I mean, it's probably gonna be in the window like Busy Bee is, so it'll conform to the 2-foot height.
Whatever the township requires in terms of an ordinance.
Or the new signage criteria that's coming through very shortly.
And did you testify specifically about the EIS waiver?
But we usually ask for that because it's fully developed. The site is completely developed. It's actually 100% developed with a small strip in the back, and we don't think that it's necessary at this time, so we're looking for that.
Thank you. I wanted you to say that.
Thank you for covering that. Yes,
I
thank
have a
you.
question. Can you just explain what a sled track is on the drawing?
Could I have the?
Could you
operator so
explain
that
what
I
a
don't
sled
mess it
track
up?
is? It sounds fun.
It's basically, it's AstroTurf, and
Okay.
basically, there's a sled on there with weight on it, and you push it or pull it.
Oh, wow. That sounds terrible.
Lower body, yes.
exercise.
Yes, good for the quads and the lower back. Sounds cool.
Thank you.
So I have a question. So for what I heard before, the planner was saying that parking, there are different parkings in different locations.
Yes,
So not everybody is going to be parking in the back, right?
correct.
So how people who park somewhere else or they walk to here, how they are going to get into the building? Through the back?
Yes, because if there's, if there's a class that's going on, we want them to come along the side. This is the driveway over here, and there's another building here. They can come along the side of the building here and come in the back. If they're parking this direction, they can come up this way. There's a sidewalk here, come across here. There are 16 spaces back here. That will be, particularly when he's early in the morning, we'll be using these. And this is the entrance where the trainer and the manager will go in. So they're coming in a different area. So they'll be in downstairs, and there's a staircase that comes up from the garage, which allows them to get into the space. So that's how the parking would work.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Please?
With regard to the classes, do all the participants work out at sequentially at each station, or do some work out at one station, some work out at another station, so you're using all stations simultaneously, or?
My answer would be yes, but this would be the gentleman.
It is in sequence. So basically, each station's numbered, and you follow the numbers around the classroom. And
And-
normally, it's 3 people in the same station working together. So that's why we don't need a lot of equipment. So basically, you need like 3 benches. So 3 people are doing the benches, and then they move on to another station, and it keeps rotating around the room.
Okay,
follow
so
the
does
leader.
everybody start at the same station?
No,
or they
everybody
start
starts at a
different-
station, and
then
they all.
just
The goal is to complete them.
Okay, thank you.
It's sort of like a timed exercise. Everyone's doing whatever their station is, and the timer goes off, and they all quickly switch to the next thing, and they all kind of move around in the same direction.
And how does the instructor work with that when you have 6 or 7 or 8 stations in terms of instructing them as to what to do?
It depends on the actual nature of the workout. So the actual exercise, some stations require more guidance, but there'll be 2 trainers in the room, basically cutting the room in half, and they'll cover it, basically 9 each or something like that. And they'll be watching. Certain exercises require more guidance, but
And from your own experience, as you said, you're a member elsewhere, is it a similarly sized facility that you're a member of?
the one actually ours is a bit. This one's going to be a little bit bigger actually, and so our goal was to give it enough room so that people had space to move around and not feel kind of claustrophobic. So we deliberately wanted a little more space so people can get around a little easier.
And
So.
how about the number of instructors per class?
Still 2.
Still
That's
two.
the franchise requirement. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Mr. Buckholz at this point? Okay. Thank you.
Being that there are no other questions, we'd simply ask that the board consider the testimony that was provided by the applicant, our experts, all the material that was provided to the board members in the packet. I could tell you, myself personally, my clients are very conscientious, very motivated people. I know they're going to be successful in this franchise, and I would ask that the board approve their application this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion by members of the board? Okay. There's nothing,
No,
nothing attached to it.
the motion, if the board is so inclined, would be to first grant any checklist waivers. I think there may have been 1 or 2 minor checklist waivers that the engineer had granted, so it would be to grant all of the checklist waivers. To grant the waiver for the environmental impact statement based upon the testimony of Mr. Buckholz, to grant preliminary and final site plan approval for this particular use. And I think we should vote on the variance for the loading, the lack of a loading dock, although I'm not even sure that that's something that has already been granted as part of the original construction. But I think it was important to provide that kind of testimony so that the particular use doesn't generate a need for some loading area. So I think we should just grant the variance, and we'll cite the testimony in the resolution. That's it. And then the usual conditions, pay the escrow fees and so forth.
And we don't need We don't need any, amendments for the parking because they're providing the.
Exactly, yes.
Just wanna make sure. Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure not to have to deal with parking payments.
For a change.
Yes.
Okay. So that said, is there a motion to approve this application?
I'll move to approve.
Great. I'll second. Thank you.
Daniel Bayer,
Yes.
Julie Becker,
Yes.
Renee Ball,
Yes.
Justin Halpert,
Yes.
Lauren Petro,
Yes.
Miriam Solano,
Yes.
that's all.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Have a good evening.
See you in town. Any new business tonight? Okay, motion to adjourn. Second. Okay, adjourn. Good evening.
Wow.
It's 8:10. I tell you guys.
No, Miriam did a good job, but,
I didn't beat that. It wasn't 8:10. Well, there were
yeah, okay.
there were a bunch of minutes.
Sometimes it is
Pretty good.